Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansachanuramardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Our salutations to Lord Shri Krishna, who gave that immortal message of Bhagavad Gita. At the outset, I am thankful to Vivekananda Samiti IIT Kanpur for organizing this Gita Mahotsav, and I'm thankful to them for giving me an opportunity of sharing my thoughts with you on the topic, how to face life, wisdom from Gita. At the outset, I would like to apologize. I had been suffering from throat infection from last 3-4 days. I tried my best for getting over this problem, both allopathic and Ayurvedic, and yet the improvement is not much. But because there was slight improvement, I have taken that chance of sharing my thoughts with you. I hope you would not mind my voice, which is not at all good. So, how to face life? First of all, what is life? This question was asked by Maharaj of Khetri, Ajit Singh Ji, to Swami Vivekananda. Swamiji, what is life? And Swamiji instantly replied, my dear prince, life is nothing but the unfoldment of a being under the circumstances trying to press it down. So it is a struggle. Life is a struggle. The whole life is a battlefield where we counter so many problems. And when we come out of these problems, we go higher and higher, and we get evolved. So in this context, let us understand how Bhagavad Gita is so very practical, because it starts with the first yoga itself as Arjuna Vishad Yoga. It is very apt topic. At present, the modern man is suffering from this Arjuna syndrome, Arjuna Vishada Yoga. We are all having Vishada. Ask anybody, how are you? Fine. Any problem? Oh, a lot of problems. All are under tension. There is so much of depression, frustration all around. Vishada is there in most of the people's minds, whether these students, whether they are from the corporate sector, whether they're businessmen, all of them, even children, small kids, they're all suffering from tension, mental tension, depression, despondency. Vishada is everywhere in everybody's mind, to a certain extent or a greater extent, to some extent or a greater extent. Now, in this context, the message of Bhagavad Gita becomes very important. It starts this whole battlefield like Kurukshetra, where we encountering many problems, and sometimes there is a crisis, as the crisis that was faced by Arjuna. Just 5 minutes back, he told Sri Krishna, please take this chariot in the middle of the Kurukshetra and let me see all the enemies who are on the opposite side. He was so confident and he wanted to fight with full vigor. But after seeing the people who were in the opposite army, he was overcome with sorrow, with cowardice, because of 2 reasons. Number 1, he got afraid whether I'll be alive or not, because there are so many thousands of them and so strong people. And secondly, because of there were many of them were relatives, very close relatives. How to kill them? So he was overcome with sorrow, and he sat down on the chariot. He told Sri Krishna that my Gandiva, I am not able to keep the Gandiva. My hands are shaking. My mouth is dried up. I will not fight. And he sits down on the chariot. This is exactly what happens when a student is facing examination, when there is a hard paper, when there is a question paper is very tough. What happens? The mouth is dried up of the student. Then he starts shaking, and he says, I will not give examination. I will take a drop. Or businessman, when there is a great loss, then he says, I will quit the business. Or an officer who is facing problems in the office, he says, I will resign. So Arjuna says, I will renounce the world. I will become a hermit. I will become a monk. But I will not fight. And some people go to the extent saying, I will quit the life itself. I will commit suicide. This is what is happening. Why so many number of suicides increasing? Only one thing is that they are unable to face the problem squarely. There is no boldness to face the problem squarely. And that is why they sit down, say, no, I will quit the life. I will commit suicide. Or another way of escapism is taking to drugs, trying to forget the miseries, trying to forget the problems, or take to wine. All these things are happening. Why so many drug addicts? Why so much of suicide? Only because the people, they are not able to face the problem squarely. It is here at this point that we get very important message from Bhagavad Gita, how to fight in the battle of life. We should not become overpowered with weakness, with cowardice. So the second chapter opens with a shloka describing the miserable condition of Arjuna. Sanjay Vacha tam tatha krupya avishtam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudana. Sanjay tells Dhritarashtra, to him who was thus overwhelmed with pity and sorrowing, and whose eyes were dimmed with tears, Madhusudana spoke these words. What are the words? See the condition of Arjuna, sorrowful, almost the picture of a modern man, a frustrated man. And Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, what is the Blessed Lord said? What the Blessed Lord said? Uttatsva kashamalibidam vishime samupastitam anaryam ajustam aswargyam akritivkaram Arjuna. He says, in such a state, whence comes upon thee, O Arjuna, this dejection, un-Aryan-like, disgraceful, and contrary to the attainment of heaven? How this come to you? And then, second sentence is more powerful. Klebhyammas magama partha, naita tattvai upapaddate, shudram hridayadorbalyam, taktotisha parantapa. Yield not to unmanliness, O son of Pritha. Yield does it become thee. Cast off this mean faint-heartedness and arise, O scorcher of thine enemies. Arise. This is the message that Sri Krishna tells Arjuna. And this is the message of Sri Krishna to the modern man who is beset with a lot of problems. Don't get despondent. Don't be cowardly. Be bold. Face the problems squarely. This does not befit thee. Why? Because inside you is the all-powerful Atman, having this infinite power. That is your true nature. That Atman is within. And you are weeping. how this cowardice comes to you? And Sri Krishna uses a very, very strong word, klebyam masmagam partha. Purposely he uses this word, klebyam. This unmanliness does not befit thee. And Arjuna naturally gets shattered, naturally gets shocked. And Sri Krishna wanted to give the shock treatment. You know, he knows Arjuna is suffering from neurosis. So the patient requires shock treatment. So Sri Krishna gives the shock treatment. Klebyam mas bhagama partha. This unmanliness does not befit thee. Klebyam mas bhagama partha naitvat tvai upapadyate. This does not befit thee. Why? Because you are Parantapa. You are scorcher of enemies. Enemies, they are afraid of taking your name. Such a great man, such a great warrior, with Gandiva in your hand. And you are saying, I will not fight. And you become despondent and you become cowardly. This does not befit thee. Get up. Shudram, Hridaya Daurbalyam. Give up this faint-heartedness. Shudram, Daurbalyam, Shudram, Hridaya Daurbalyam. Takto Tishta Parantapa. Get up. And that is the message Swami Vivekananda gave to all those people who are suffering from this tamasika mood. Awake, awake, great ones. Arise, 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 awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. He gave this message, like Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna says, awake, arise. This unmanliness does not befit thee. This cowardice does not befit thee. What a wonderful message for the modern man. We can face our life. We can face the problems of life. We can face the challenges of life squarely by taking the help of Bhagavad Gita, by pondering over this one particular sentence itself, full of power, full of that vigor and strength. And I would like to quote from the book Bhagavad Gita as viewed by Swami Vivekananda, published from Advaita Ashrama. Just imagine what Swami Vivekananda is telling about this sentence. As for our topic that we are now dealing with, how to face life, how to face the problems of life. This is a very, very apt quotation. That is why I would like to tell this with inverted commas. Swami Vivekananda says, yield not to unmanliness, O son of Pritha. There is in this world neither sin nor misery, neither disease nor grief. If there is anything in the world which can be called sin, it is this, fear. Know that any work which brings out this latent power in thee is punya, virtue, and that which makes the body and mind weak is verily sin. Shake off this weakness, this faint-heartedness. Klebyam mas magama partha. Thou art a hero, a Veera. This is unbecoming of thee. After telling this message, Swami Vivekananda says, if you, my sons, can proclaim this message to the world, Klebyam mas magama partha, then all this disease, grief, sin, and sorrow will vanish from off the face of this earth in 3 days. Swami Vivekananda says this will be all away. The fear of coronavirus pandemic or any other such disease or depression or any other problem, all this will be away. All the disease, grief, sin, and sorrow will vanish from off the face of the earth in 3 days. Only 3 days. 3, not more. Just imagine. Swamiji says, in 3 days, all will be over. If you can proclaim this message to the world of Gita, Klebyam mas magama partha, Klebyam mas magama partha, Klebyam mas magama partha. All these ideas of weakness will be nowhere. Now it is everywhere. This current of the vibration of fear, yes, it is everywhere. Now it is much more because of the pandemic. Now, of course, the pandemic is gone. Then recession in economic, recession in the market, then recession in the share market. This will go on. And then, of course, in life, there's so many problems students are facing. They are not getting proper admission. Then they become depressed. They do not, they cannot, do not qualify for IAS, IPS. They become depressed. They cannot go to foreign countries. They are depressed. Students have their own problems. Businessmen, their own problems. Housewives have their own problems. Maid servant ka problem. So many problems everybody is facing. So now it is everywhere. This current of the vibration of fear, and everybody is afraid of this or that. Reverse the current, bring in the opposite vibration, and behold the magic transformation. Immediately magic transformation will be there. Thou art omnipotent. Go to the mouth of the cannon. Fear not. Hate not the most abject sinner. Look not to his exterior. Turn the gaze inward, where resides this Paramatman. Proclaim to the whole world with trumpet voice. Proclaim to the whole world with trumpet voice. There is no sin in thee. There is no misery in thee. Thou art the reservoir of omnipotent power. Arise, awake, and manifest the divinity within. What a message Swamiji has given. How he has proclaimed the message of Bhagavad Gita. How he has compressed the message of Bhagavad Gita only in one sentence. The powerful message of Bhagavad Gita for facing the challenges of life, for facing the problems of life squarely. Swamiji has given the solution. And he says, proclaim this message of divinity of soul everywhere. In fact, what he did was the same thing. When we went to America, in the World Parliamentary Region, what did he say? He quoted from the Shvetashveta Upanishad, Shrunumantu Vishwe Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastuhu Vedahametam Purusham Mahantam Adityavarnam Tamasa Parastat Tameva Viditva Timritimeti Nanya Panta Viditena. I have found the ancient one who is beyond all miseries. By knowing him alone, you shall be free from all miseries. And then he told, dear sisters and brothers of America, let me call you by this sweet name, children of immortal bliss. Ye, the children of immortal bliss, holy and perfect beings, ye, divinities on us sinners, it is a sin to call a man so. It is a standing liable on human nature. Come up, O lions, and shake up the delusion that you are sheep. Your soul is immortal, spirits free, blessed and eternal. Ye are not matter, ye are not bodies. Matter is a servant, not ye the servant of matter. This is what Swamiji told in America. And then he was there for more than 3.5 years. There, everywhere he gave this message of the divinity of the soul, which he's telling here. Go, preach everywhere this message of the divinity of the soul. He himself did the same thing. And everywhere he said, you are divine, you are divine, you are divine. One day, one American lady stood up and said, Swami, you are trying to hypnotize us, always telling you are divine, you are divine, you are divine. Swamiji immediately replied, Madam, I am not trying to hypnotize you. I am trying to dehypnotize you. Because already you hypnotized me thinking I am a sinner, I am a sinner, I am weak, I am weak. No, you are divine, that is the first truth. You are divine, that is the second truth. You are divine, that is the last truth. There is no truth greater than this. That is the message of Vedanta. You are divine, you are great, you have got infinite power within you. You are not this body-mind complex. Swami Vivekananda says, preach this message of divinity everywhere. Proclaim to the whole world this message of Bhagavad Gita. He says, if one reads this one shloka, Swamiji says further, if one reads this one shloka, klebyam ma smagam partha naitat payupapadate shudram hridaya dorbalyam taktotishta parantapa. One gets all the merits of reading the entire Gita. For in this one shloka lies embedded the whole message of the Gita. Swamiji says, the whole message of the Bhagavad Gita is contained in this one sentence. And if one reads this one shloka, it is almost like reading the whole of Bhagavad Gita. What a wonderful message Swamiji has given. This message of the divinity of the soul, which he preached in America. Following this message of Bhagavad Gita by Sri Krishna says, awake, 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 arise, arise, awake. And Swami Vivekananda also said, arise, awake, and manifest the divinity within. So here, what we find, to all the people who are suffering from Arjuna syndrome, here is the first message, that remember your true nature, remember you got infinite power within, Remembering that, don't become faint-hearted. Give up this cowardice. Give up this unmanliness and stand up and fight. Swamiji is telling this from his own experience. As you know, when Swamiji went to Benares, he went to Durga Devi temple. And there, when he was coming out of Durga Devi temple, some monkeys, fearful monkeys, they started chasing him. And Swamiji started running. And the monkeys started running after him. Now what to do? One side there was a pond, another side was a big wall. Swamiji was running ahead, and the monkeys were chasing. Now Swamiji became tired, what to do? Suddenly he heard an elderly monk shouting at him, "Hey, daro mat, bandar ka samna karo. Don't be afraid. Face the animals." And Swamiji immediately stopped and looked back, and he waved his stick like this. All the monkeys fled away. Swami Vivekananda afterwards, in his lecture in America, said, "That day I learned one of the greatest lessons of my life." What is that? Face the brutes. Face the difficulties of life squarely. If you are afraid, difficulties will follow you. But if you face them, difficulties will run away. That is the greatest message. The same message is given here in the Bhagavad Gita by Shri Krishna. Don't be afraid. Give up this weakness. Weakness is sin. Weakness is death. This does not befit thee, O Arjuna. So this is the Bhagavad Gita starts in the second chapter with this powerful message of the divinity of the soul. The end of having the infinite power within you. Give up this unmanliness. There will be problems. Of course, there will be problems in life. Life itself is a problem. And life is full of problems. But where there is a malady, there is a solution also. There is a remedy also. Wherever there is a malady, there is a remedy. So, take the remedy and start and go ahead.